Right now, let's go to the fan hotline and welcome in John Greco. John isn't going anywhere, and if he does, the fans will go with him. Good morning, John.
Ken, good morning. Anthony, good morning. Great to be with you.
It's great that you're joining us this morning. I disagreed with what Kevin Stefanski did at the end of the game. I've obviously spoken about it in an even passionate sense. Real quick, did you agree with what Kevin Stefanski did? Did you disagree with Kevin Stefanski?
I did not like it. It was 3rd and 11. How many completions before that point were over 11 yards? One. That's a low percentage conversion. If they pick up 7, they're still punting. You give Carson Wentz in Minnesota an extra timeout to stop the clock. I did not like it. They're in their 4-minute offense before that, and they had two runs that went nowhere. And if you look at those looks, the first play they pulled wide Teller, and he looked like he was blocking outside, like he was running to the sidelines and expecting the running back to be outside with him. And, it was cut up for one reason or another. So that play goes nowhere. And then the second play, Joel Bitonio is pulling to the right, and they have a 3-flat look, which is the guard, tackle, and tight end are covered to the outside. And those guys are supposed to be doing down blocks if it's a pull scheme. So there was a look there that was kind of goofy. So these are little things in the 4-minute offense that kind of derailed them from executing a traditional 4-minute offense to try to burn clock. And instead, they get to 3rd and 11. Maybe the coach is frustrated and says, well, the hell with it. We can't run. We can't do anything. Let's just try to convert this with a throw, which I don't get that. You run it twice and then you try to convert. Just hand the ball off. You already basically decided that you're going to try to let the defense win the game. Give them one less bullet in the chamber on Minnesota's offense without that timeout and see what you can do. But again, they hadn't completed a pass that long, to my knowledge, before that. I know Thrash and Bond had late long completions in kind of Hail Mary situations when Minnesota was in prevent. But no, I did not like it.
Now let me ask you this then, John. They're 1-4. You were an offensive lineman, so it's different side of the balls, different cultures, different characters, whatever. But when you're on that flight home, that's a long flight. You're on that flight home. You have a lot of time to think about what's ahead of you. You got 12 more games. Seems that you're already out of the playoff race. You know the conversations about developing rookies now and all the other things. Does that grate on that defense? Because you land the plane and people on sports radio calling in. We didn't put it on the defense, Anthony and I. There were plenty of people who did. You go, you know what? Wait a minute. You're putting it on us when you guys haven't scored 20 points a game for the last 10 games? Like, does that start to grade on players there? I know losing anyway will, but when it starts to be, wait a minute, the defense has been great, but if you give up 21 points, all of a sudden you're not good. I would have figured that has a reaction with some players. Maybe I'm thinking too deep in it. That's why I was excited to bring you on. Go ahead.
No, I don't think you're overthinking it. I don't know if it's necessarily going to bleed into the locker room and you're going to start seeing, players going at it and start to throw each other under the bus in the media, if that's kind of the answer you're looking for. I don't think they're there yet, but I think when, Coach Stefanski addresses the whole team, then they break down into the units, obviously. And, Schwartz and the defense and the guys on that side of the ball are going to be ultra critical of themselves. And I would expect there to be some fire in that room. And maybe they're going to say, hey, look, we can't let up more than 20 points because our offense can't score more than 20 points. They haven't in a number of days. So let's not count on them to do so. Let's be better. That's what the defense is, I'm sure, thinking. And how can we clean up our side of the ball to make it easier on the offense? And then in the offensive room, my God, let's clean up the penalties. And you know the laundry list of things they need to work on. We don't need to beat a dead horse. But in the offensive room, it's like, look, we can't expect our defense to go out here and hold every team to 10 to 14 points. I mean, my God, you should accidentally score 4 touchdowns or 3 touchdowns and a field goal at some point this season. Now, it's going to be hard if they can't complete a pass down the field longer than 15 yards. Why is that happening? people will be attacking us and me and you and Stefanski and Dillon Gabriel and eventually Shedeur Sanders and eventually Deshaun Watson when he's in there under center this year. Whatever. Everybody's
what the hell? How did you slip that into there?
It is a spooky season, Halloween. But that's where we're at. That's where we're at. And, until the offense figures out how to create opportunities down the field. Now, are guys not open? When they're open, are they catching the ball? When they're open and they're catching the ball, is there a penalty? There's so many things that goes into this that they're just not executing. And I hate to say it so bluntly, and it's not easy, but that's what they're doing. It's one thing or another. Quinshon Judkins has an unbelievable game. He has some great runs that he breaks free. Oh, wait, not so fast. Bring it back. 1st and 20. Oh, wait, not so fast. Bring it back. Negates a touchdown. Negates a big play because of a penalty. It's just these drive killers, these game killers. And then when you have all of those things where the players are doing things right, you have head-scratching moves from the coaches. So it's just such a mess right now, guys. And then we can't expect the defense to, create 4 turnovers a game and hold everybody to 10, 14 points. It's just not going to happen. It's not realistic. And when they play great games, they have to play complementary football and find ways to score points. So that's where we're at.
John Greco with us with some sobering thoughts on their situation. Now, you mentioned Judkins, and he was sensational. And if you think about, the touchdown, that, the hold probably helped, but that they had to call back because of that hold. What do you think overall of at least getting that running game going? Was it the offensive line? Was it just Judkins being a freak? What did you see?
Yeah, and I remember Joel being excited about him way back when he first. I know he was dealing with some issues off the field, but this is early on, like when the kid first showed up. I remember how excited Joel was about his future. Spending time with him in the off season, and that now that he's here and everything's cleared up and he's playing and he's getting more experience and he's in the film rooms and he's seeing things happen. He looks the part, and he's excited. But I don't know if the broadcaster said something, or I don't know where I heard this, or if I'm just making it up. But this Browns team can't win the games with him rushing the ball for 200 yards, and that's it. It's going to take more than that, because I think Anthony, you and I and Daryl talked about it last week. The amount of 8-man plus boxes that he's going to see, and that he did see Sunday. It would not be fun to block that up. But if they do get a hat on a hat, it's him versus safety, or him versus a free guy in the hole, and he's making people miss, and he's taking contact and falling forward. So I'm really, really excited about that young man, and he has a great future. I just hope that they can find a way to, where's the play action game? That's what I thought this offense was supposed to be all about. They have a successful running game, or a running game that you should be able to build off of. So where are those deep opportunities? We just haven't seen them yet. And if they're dialed up and guys are covered and Dillon Gabriel is unsure about what to throw the football up or where to go with the ball, that's on the coaches. So yes, I'm excited about Judkins, and he runs hard. He looks like he knows what he's doing. He trusts the guys in front of him. And the offensive line and the tight ends, we have a young tight end in there. We have some inexperienced guys. But David Njoku seems like, he believes in him, and everybody's trying to block their tails off. And when he hits the line of scrimmage and gets out on the other side, he's electric.
John Greco joining us here on the show. What can you do over at the left tackle spot? KT Levinson, Cam Robinson, bad day at the office. What can you can't change it right now, so what are you going to do to fix that situation?
I don't know. You can.
Oh boy, that sounds promising.
Yeah, well, in season when you're struggling at one position on the offensive line, and you get Jack Conklin back, and hopefully he can stay healthy, because that was an obvious improvement having him in there. I mean, the guy's a Pro Bowler. I believe he's made All-Pro, but he's there for a reason. And when he's healthy, he's among the best. But at the left tackle position, you with the penalties, and there's times where even in the fourth quarter, when Leviston had a false start, and then they back, a holding call, and they back themselves up and create more of a bad situation. Well, there was a linebacker coming off the edge. It was in the fourth quarter, and just by defensive scheme that the guy outside of you needs to get into that inside gap. And I noticed that he knew that, but he just didn't get there, whether it was proper footwork, technique, whatever. But the defender made a great jump, and he was out of position and held. And that just backs him up. So I just think for guys like that, what can you do? You can't just keep bringing guys in off the street or expect that there's someone in that room that's going to come in and step in and just be monumentally better. They just have to keep digging deep, working together, working with Joel, working with whoever, working with the center, their offensive line coach, and just try to just button it up a little bit more each week, because we can't have all the penalties. We can't, have the missed assignments. It's got to get cleaned up, because at some point I would expect them to say, screw it. Let's get into a different formation, throw the ball downfield, and let's live with the results. And you know what? Those guys are going to have to protect, and the guys at left tackle are going to have to protect. And we talked about it the previous few weeks how, you put a Band-Aid on a situation on the offensive line with leaving tight ends in and leaving running backs in. Well, listen, Brian Flores knows that. The Steelers are going to know that. These opponents are going to see that and know that and what the Browns' tendencies are in protection. At the end of the day, these guys have to block. That's who's in the meeting room right now. That's who's on the field, and we have to live with it. There's little to nothing that you can do at this point in the season.
Do you think Dillon Gabriel, I should ask, what are the odds Dillon Gabriel holds this starting quarterback position for the rest of the year?
Oh, God, the rest of the year? I would not bet on that.
If he's healthy, I should say.
If he's healthy, God, my gosh, what a question. I wouldn't bet on. I can't bet on that. I wouldn't. If I was in Vegas, I would not bet on that. I hope he does. I would not bet on that.
Why do you think?
I don't know. I just think there's so much left. There's so much of this season left. And there's so much pressure already. People are so angry at me because I don't want Shedeur Sanders in there right now, and they're not giving him a fair shake and whatever. And I've never said that, but I feel like I'm being attacked on social media because of Shedeur Sanders.
Good, you should be.
I'm like, the guy's the third string quarterback. I'm excited about him. I want to see him in there, but I don't want to see him in there as a result of another guy playing poorly or the offense not executing. So Dillon Gabriel, it's his job. I hope the guy stays healthy. I hope he continues to improve, and I hope that Kevin Stefanski can put him in a good position to try to win games for this team. I mean, my God, we're already. I hear people already talking about next year and firing the coach. I mean, that sucks. It's October 7th. It's the first week of October. It sucks. So if I had to bet, I would say no, because I wasn't joking about Deshaun Watson. People can like that or hate it, but I think I would bet that in Vegas that he's going to start at some point this season. But I don't know. What do you think, Anthony? Do you think Dillon Gabriel is going to start the rest of the season?
No.
He's asking you now.
I do not.
We're in a great place.
I guess the question is, how many quarterbacks will the Browns actually have under center this year? Because the last few years, I think a couple years ago it was 5. Last year, I think it was 5. How many start this year? We can answer that another day, John. I don't want to put you on the spot too many times.
No, I like it. I think I've already answered that question. I've named the other 2 guys that I think will be under center, and that would be my bet.
John, thank you very much for the time. All the very best to you and yours. Take care.
Guys, have a great week.
The great John Greco on the Fan Hotline.